big God bless you from me, Rory, Alec. There you are. Good morning, noon, or night. I am barely awake, but it's well into the day. It's Thursday, but whenever you're watching, welcome. It's lovely to be with you. I'm looking forward to what I think, he says, hopefully will be a very much shorter Spirit, Soul, Body podcast with me, Rory. It is Thursday. I don't know when you're watching, but welcome. It's lovely to have you with me. And thanks for letting me be with you. I hope that you're doing strong, you're doing well. I woke up this morning late, around 11 in the morning. Go figure, right? And the reason is that I was working late last night. Some friends of mine at the conservatoire were actually doing a live recording, piano saxophone, soprano saxophone, and they were recording and wanted me to video the whole event. So it was sort of a solid hour and a half of unbelievable musicianship. They were fantastic. Karen Asatrian from Armenia, and then on the soprano saxophone from the Ukraine, Andrea. Incredible. And of course in the sound control room, the sound engineer Bruno from Austria. So everybody was doing a fabulous job, and me, born from the very soils of Africa, yours truly, running around. And Karen said to me, "Listen, I have no budget to do this thing." I said, "Well, come on, we've got to do something." He said, "Well, what about some iPhones? I've got an iPhone or two." I said, "Fine, we'll do it on iPhones." So it was a long one last night, beloved. But I enjoyed it immensely. And this body now weighing 89.9. Remember, the beginning of this year, January the 1st, I was a glorious 102.8 kilograms. And this morning, jumping on the scale at around 11:30 after drinking my bitter tea. I'll tell you about the bitter tea sometime, actually. It's excellent for your body. Or maybe I'll have my darling wife tell you all about this bitter tea, which was introduced to us by my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. Anyway, jumped on the scale, having slugged down bitter tea, which, by the way, will definitely wake you up. And 89.1. So, but coming back to this performance last night, which was fantastic. Finished, I think, at about 1:30 in the morning, and I sort of drove my weary old body back to the house and settled down. And then, of course, Carola was up, beautiful woman, and so we ended up having some tea in the wee hours of the morning. I think we finally got to sleep at about 4:00 this morning. So it was kind of one of those completely out of the norm days, because I'm really trying hard on my new lifestyle changes. Not only intermittent fasting and losing weight and all of that, but I'm also trying to get at least 8 hours sleep. By the way, if you didn't know, it is essential for 8 hours sleep for anybody. And here's the good news. The older you get, the longer you should be sleeping. So go do your research. Find all those good doctors on YouTube who really know what they're talking about, not the wacky quackies. And try and sleep. It's so important to our bodies. So I awoke this morning, this Thursday, here in the heart of Europe, just thankful. I really, really thankful. And I know some days we can have crappy days full of pressure and challenge, and our bodies are not performing. We're struggling with sickness or whatever. And I know some people have some really tough times and are going through some really formidable negative circumstances. But I woke up really just thankful. I woke up thankful that I could think clearly. I woke up thankful that I could move about and go downstairs, jump on the scale, get in the shower. Thankful that I could open the windows, freshen the air in the house, look out on the garden, and see the old blackbirds. Mr. and Mrs. Schmutzig is what I've called them. If you're German, you'll know Schmutzig means dirty. How did Mr. and Mrs. Schmutzig, the blackbirds in our garden, and I think they're blackbirds. By the way, I'm no bird fundy, okay? But this is a bird with a yellow beak, black, and then the female, that's the male, and the female is sort of a dark brown, also with a yellow beak. And so hence Mrs. Schmutzig and Mr. Schmutzig. And we've got two Mr. Schmutzigs, who, by the way, sing gloriously, but I've noticed they only sing in spring. Again, you may be the bird fundy, I'm not. But why do I call them Mr. and Mrs. Dirty? Schmutzig is the German word for dirty, is because they dig up the whole garden. I mean, really, aggressively, especially Mrs. Schmutzig. Anyway, so I'm thankful this morning. Looking out, and there she is digging up the garden. She's busy making her nest. It's spring. I mean, the garden's awakening. The cherry tree, by the way, is beginning to bud. So soon we're going to have magnificent blossoms on our cherry tree here. Just 60 miles away from the beautiful country of Italy. Yes, I know. God has blessed me. I'm thankful for where I'm living. I know many of you have opinions of Europe and don't live in Europe, and I know many of you who do live in Europe also have opinions of Europe. But I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm thankful. My spirit is at peace. I know my calling and love Him, and grateful and feel His blessing. And I don't always feel His blessing. There are days when I don't feel that connected, and those are tough days, and that's where you really grit in and by faith, and you're not moved by what you feel, you're not moved by what you think or negative circumstances. So don't get me wrong, I also have crappy days too, but I'm grateful for today, and I'm happy to be hanging out with you. By the way, you can connect with me. I'm going to try and pull it up in my system. If you want to text me, you can actually text me at this number. This is not a phone number. This is a text number. So you can text me whatever you want to say. Hey, hi, Rory. I'm watching from wherever. And by the way, if you text me this number, I will put you on my broadcast list. And every week I will just send you out a WhatsApp if you're on WhatsApp. I know some of you don't like WhatsApp. I went through WhatsApp, then I went to Telegram, and then I came back to WhatsApp. And I'm still on Telegram. So those are two ways that work well. But you can text me with pleasure, or if you've got some ideas, you say, hey, Rory, have you heard what's happening where with so-and-so? You should interview them. Like one of my friends from Las Vegas, Katie, connected with me the other week and said, have you ever thought about having Charlie Duke on Spirit, Soul, Body? And I'm going, okay, now, brain, who's Charlie Duke? Because I know Katie very well, at least the way that we've connected over the years through texts and WhatsApps and Telegram. And so I know when she drops a name that there's somebody important at the other end of it. And it turns out to be he was on Apollo 15 or 16. I'm not sure which Apollo it was. And anyway, the astronaut, who today is 92 years old, runs around the world talking about his faith and his experiences as the man who was the longest on the moon. Imagine that. For some of you who think, was the moon, did it ever really happen? Did they ever really get to the moon? Well, maybe we have Charlie Duke on. So text me if you have some ideas of what we could actually have and people we should have on Spirit, Soul, Body. I'm really excited. And by the way, I've got a whole bunch of calls out there. Lots of people that I'm chatting with. I've got 2 conference calls again today. Also with the co-author of the book, The Shack, which was also made into a movie. I don't know if you've ever read the book or watched the movie. The Shack. Fantastic. You should check that out. So I'll be talking to Brad later on today and catching up with him. And I'm going to invite him to come on Spirit, Soul, Body and just share whatever's happening in his world. So whether it's Charlie Duke, who talks to us at that grand old age of 92, and we'll see if we can get him on Spirit, Soul, Body, talking about what it was like to walk on the moon. That would be an interesting interview, wouldn't it? You might be like Katie and have some great ideas. Please text me on this number. I'd love to hear from you. Or you can email me. So email me at roryalec@roryalecmedia.com. Rory, Raz, look down there. Raz@roryalecmedia.com. Send me an email and I will try and come back to everybody. Now, if I can't get to everybody, don't despair. I will look at it. By the way, don't text me or email me nonsense because I'm just going to block you and delete it. So if it's constructive criticism or if it's some encouraging feedback or you simply just saying, hi, I live in this part of the world and I'm enjoying Spirit, Soul, Body. And again, think about having somebody on. I'm open to all of that. I also want to cover the Asbury revival in Wilmore, Kentucky, which has sparked off so many different other movements in our universities in the United States specifically, and it's starting to touch different places in the world. Not that things aren't happening by the Spirit. Now I get slightly relational again, because there's amazing things happening all around the world. So I know some of you were a little surprised that I actually got as spiritual as I did with episodes 6 and 7 last week and this week. I was like, let's get spiritual. You know, there's that famous song, let's get physical, let's get physical. I'm going, yeah, let's get spiritual. Okay. Getting physical is not bad, by the way, with your better half, your husband or your wife, your spouse. But I was talking about let's get spiritual. And some of you were surprised that I got as spiritual as I did. I just want to be authentic with you guys as we grow on this journey of Spirit, Soul, Body. Yes, this is my podcast, and this is me sharing and catching up with you, and then talking about things, Spirit, Soul, Body, that are very interesting to me. And anyway, so I want to just give you where I've been, what my journey is, spirit, soul, and body, and let's get spiritual. The last 2 episodes, if you've just found me now, the last 2 episodes, Rory, Alec, a big God bless you, got spiritual on episode 6 and 7. So 7 is the perfect number of God, by the way. 6 is the number of man. And now we're doing episode 8 today, the number of new beginnings. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for a new day today. And I encourage you. I know you might be going through challenging circumstances, spirit, soul, or body. And just try and focus on the positive. I know it's easy for me to say, but as we focus on the positive, we basically lift ourselves out of gray circumstances, tough circumstances. And we get a different perspective. We sort of come above the clouds and then are back in the sunshine and can look down and go, okay, I can get above this as a spirit being and I can push through. And with his help, specifically with his help, it's much easier. But if you don't believe in him yet, and you haven't invited him in to touch your life and transform you, which that's your choice. That's up to you. I find that he's just so gentle and he's so loving, and he really does when I do have a crappy day, which I do, as I've said already. So, yeah, Rory Alec is thankful. Text me. You can email me. By the way, you guys can also join my Facebook group. Here is he says, a scan. You can scan this with your cell phone. Now, if you're watching on your cell phone, take a screen grab or just go to Facebook and look up Spirit, Soul, Body Facebook group with Rory Alec. It's a closed Facebook group. It's for those of you who really want to get involved. I haven't mastered the art yet of working with the Facebook group because, frankly, I really don't like. I'm not a social media guy, really. As most of you would have noticed, it's like, yeah, he doesn't do anything other than just puts up his podcast, or he puts up his vlog, or he puts up Good Morning World, or whatever you were filming, Rory, you pop that up, but you don't really write. I'm not the kind of person who writes, and some of you are brilliant at it. It's just not my strength. But I do want to see if I can cultivate with guys and girls who want to journey closer with me. And I've got 160 on my closed Facebook group. And so, by the way, if any of you are good moderators or great with Facebook, reach out to me on that text or that email that I put up, and join my closed Facebook group and say, hey, Rory, I can help you. And as we get to know one another, and as I get to trust you, I don't automatically trust everybody. Neither should you. But as you get to feel one another's spirit and you go, yeah, that's great, then maybe you can help me on this closed Facebook group. So that is the scan there for the closed Facebook group. So it's New Beginnings. It's episode number 8. And today I want to focus on, the old denim chair. Now, some of you who've traveled with me over the years, you know about the old denim chair. But for many of you, you're new to me, you're new to Spiritual Body. Isn't there something in your life that is kind of like worn out? It's a has-been, it's finished, it's over. And you think, I'm just going to chuck it away. There's just no value. Well, Carola and I, when we were living up in the Wachau, which is closer to Vienna, beautiful part of Austria, famous for their apricot blossoms and their apricot jams and their apricot schnapps. Okay, beautiful part of the world. And of course, in the Wachau Valley, which basically runs for around 31 kilometers, you've got the Danube winding its way leisurely through this region. And they're famous for their white wines as well. Super famous here in Austria and Europe. But we were living there for a season of our lives. And I filmed this story about the old denim chair. And I just felt prompted on episode 8, 8 being the number of new beginnings. I wanted to share his story with you, the old denim chair. No, he's not a she, he's a he. Why? I have no idea. It just feels like he's a he, okay? No disrespect, ladies, but I think the old denim chair, when you see him, you're going to go, yeah, he's a he. And for those of you who are super literal like my wife, okay, it's an it. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to not only the beautiful Wachau, where we were living for a season, but to the old denim chair. Let's focus on, can we restore? Can we renew? And I see this as a wonderful metaphor for your and my life. So let's take this journey on this episode 8, New Beginnings. Time to get him to the recovering shop. This is a super old wingback chair. Very comfortable, super comfortable. But for sure the material's seen better days. Had kids, parties, late nights. Who knows what stories this old chair could tell. But we're taking it off to my sister-in-law, who runs a very, very, very stylish design house in the southern part of Austria called Casa Viva. I've actually done some work for them in the past. And we're going to get this beautiful old denim chair. Nothing's wasted. I love to reclaim and save things. You know, I don't care how old you are, you're never finished until the Lord says, hey, come up, your days are done on earth. I think until that moment, you always have a purpose. I fully believe it. And not only us human beings having purposes, but I love it when we can actually repurpose things that were left in cellars and forgotten and can be worked again. So I got to get this guy into Mr. Penelope. But here's the big question. Will Mr. Denim Chair fit in Mr. Penelope? This is something I'm going to have to find out. I've never done that on a car before. This is the first time for everything. And this is what I can hear Mr. Penelope saying. Clean me. Which I will say, pretty cold. It's been a great week. Not as hectic as last week, thank God for that. But still, Mr. Penelope's in a bit of a mess. I've got to get him really cleaned out. But there's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to get in here. But my first concern is I don't somehow think I'm going to get this Mr. Denim Chair in here. Anyway, let's see what we can get up to. Fabulous little car, this Volvo V50. First, take the headrests off, stow them safely away, but so reliable. It's the only car Carola and I have. Not that we need a lot of cars, because being in the city is great public transport. I still see the remnants of Christmas left over in here, the Christmas tree. So I know my dear wife is going to say, how can you show everybody Mr. Penelope in such a state? Oh well, this is just the way it goes. Let's see if we can get this denim chair in here. That's the big one.
This cut is fresh.
I definitely think Mr. Penelope is not big enough, and that we may well not get this denim chair in here, but it's worth a try. So let me get this out of here. I'll be back.
Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh honey, though our friendship ceases from now on. If you can't say anything real nice, it's better not to talk.
He's not light. Many things from yesteryear are a lot more weightier than a lot of the modern stuff nowadays. Right, let's see. I don't think we're going to get him in. Don't think we can drive all the way to Klagenfurt like that.
Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh honey.
It's at this point one calls on a beautiful woman to come and give a second opinion.
Wow, no, because even if we put it up, it doesn't come in. No, no. Naja, okay, so that's not working.
You knocked my camera over.
I'm sorry.
It ain't going in. Mr. Penelope is just a little too small. Which means we'll have to make another plan for Mr. Old Chair to get from here to there, to get his whole new set of chair clothing. Well, must carry on. And then some weeks later, the chair returned to the great joy. Oh, this is awful. That's an awful French accent. To all of my French viewers, I apologize. At least that was supposed to be a French accent by a South African who's been too long in the UK, America, and Europe. Anyway. But some weeks later, the chair did return. And my goodness me, what a change. Let's have a look at that. Let's get it out the car and into the little studio. It's arrived. The Old Denim Chair. There he is in all his splendor. Doesn't look like the Old Denim Chair anymore. Donated to the studio by the beautiful Corolla. Last time I had to carry him on my own.
amazing what you can find and how you can get things put together. And something's beautifully retransformed. The old denim chair in all his glory. Now she's filled. Okay, let me put this camera in the basement quickly. And that's the other challenge, is that we did the floor, we painted the walls, and yet the studio has become a storeroom again. And this is not the plan, of course, but this is the way life is. I must say I'm quite grateful that I don't have to carry it all by myself, the old denim chair. We have 2 chairs. 1, 2. What do you say, huh? Yeah. I'll say thank you to my dear sister-in-law for her hard work in making this look so beautiful. Look at this piping. Oh, that really is nice. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, that's fabulous. I don't think he ever looked so good.
It didn't.
This is the best looking old denim chair you've ever seen. My goodness me.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. My thanks to Patrick there. Without his help, I'm not sure I would have managed that beautiful chair safely down those stairs. Think about it. At least that's what I'm thinking about on this very thankful Thursday. Thankful that the weekend's coming. On this episode 8 of Spirit, Soul, Body, enjoying hanging out with you. You might have something old. You might have something that needs to be reclaimed. It might even be parts of your life, Spirit, Soul, Body. And let's reclaim. Let's, with his help and with good knowledge, with the changes in our habits and decisions. I don't want to get too preachy on this Thursday, but let's reclaim, let's restore, let's renew. Everything about you and I is designed to actually improve, to become healthy. I know some of you are going to say, oh, nonsense, Rory. Every day we get older and every day we get closer to death in the body. And of course, that's that dynamic. Yes, we are flawed. As the religious would like to say, we are sinners. Whether we like it or not, we're corrupted. But there is grace. And when we also take care of ourselves, the way our Creator has designed us, our bodies are designed to function every day and to renew parts of itself and be restored. And it just takes good habits. That's what I'm learning. At least that's my journey. So, and again, down to the practical, if you find an old denim chair like that, my goodness me, it's downstairs as I'm talking to you today on Spirit, Soul, Body. And it's beautiful. And we sit in it every single day. In fact, it's my preferred chair at the fireplace downstairs. And many great ideas have flourished there. Many important conversations with my beautiful wife has taken place there with my kids. And that chair functions today. It looks glorious. And it's got a whole new lease of life. So, yeah. He waxes lyrical with a little bit of pontification thrown in there and bordering on the edge of philosophical. At least I'd like to think so. It's been lovely hanging out with you. I'm going to keep it a short and sweet one on this Thursday. I'm looking forward to the weekend. And yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you more about that project that I ended up filming at in the middle hours of the night last night. And I really enjoyed myself in the presence of such great musicians as well. So until next time, have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Remember, Spirit, Soul, Body with me, Rory, Alec, who's always saying a big God bless you, generally from the depths of my inward I want to see you blessed, even though I don't know you and haven't had the privilege of meeting you in person yet. Maybe one day, who knows? God knows. I wish you a big God bless. Have a wonderful weekend. Try and take one day every 7 just to have a Shabbat. Our Jewish friends, neighbors have got it right. One day of rest. And the only reason they've got it right is because he told them, hey, work 6 days, but on the 7th day, put aside everything and just rest. Read a good book. Listen to some great soothing music. Don't work. Don't do your normal habit. Just enjoy one another. And of course, focus a little bit on him. As I'm doing with a thankful heart. Love you guys. I'll see you next week. Until then, a big God bless you from me, Rory, Alec. We'll talk soon. Ciao for now.